I was recently reminded of the Lindy effect, a phenomenon that is all about the longer something has been around, the longer we should expect its future life expectancy to be. And this oddly applies to Microsoft as a company, as a product platform. And in some ways, Microsoft has facilitated our entire industry and has been an enabler for better commerce, better productivity, and so forth. So I give them credit where credit is due, but it is oddly in a place where they are not incentivized to build secure products in the first place. So even when security researchers report issues, report weaknesses and problems, there is often no sense of urgency coming from Microsoft as they see, until they see us, their customers, under active attack. And that's what we see here with 121 flaws patched on this past Patch Tuesday, including a 0-day that was under active attack called, it's a dog walk variant that was actually disclosed over 2 years ago. So imagine that. Imagine being told over 2 years ago you have a weakness in the system and not doing anything about it until it is being exploited. And we're seeing this pattern over and over of halfway patching or patching that introduces newer, worse problems. And so Microsoft patching has become the damned if you do and damned if you don't kind of scenario. So careful management is key here. Open redirect flaws that exist in websites like American Express and Snapchat have been exploited in phishing attacks. Now, nearly every phishing or smishing attack today does involve a redirection already. So even if Snapchat and American Express have closed these open redirects, nothing is preventing the criminals from using any one of thousands of other redirects. So the key for protection for end users still works in the form of zero trust connectivity. And as we see here from Australia, zero trust strategy is vital for cybersecurity. It's good to see that 58% of surveyed organizations are on their way to implementing zero trust. And on their way might just mean that they are now starting to look for vendors. So we look forward to happy to help clients like that. Cisco has enterprise-class firewalls that have at least a dozen vulnerabilities, 4 of which have been assigned CV identifiers. This could allow attackers to infiltrate networks that are protected by Cisco ASA firewalls. This is nothing new. We see this again with Cisco, similar to Microsoft, although Cisco is in the space of cybersecurity, and yet we are seeing patching needs, seems like every other week. And Cloudflare reported on how a sophisticated phishing scam almost got them compromised, but how YubiKeys ended up being what protected their own staff members that ended up falling for a phishing scam. Now, we would argue, of course, that Cloudflare-Okta.com, being a domain that was generated only 40 minutes before the campaign began, should itself be suspicious. It should be so suspicious that it shouldn't even work on a network that's protected by zero trust connectivity. And so separately from that, we would say there's no reason to even allow tools like AnyDesk or TeamViewer to be permitted unless specifically required in certain use cases. And did you know Canada's first code-breaking unit comes out of the shadows? This one made me smile looking at this young lady, Sylvia Gelman, 101 years old. And she says, no one outside knew what we were doing. These are code breakers that were a key part of breaking code during the World War II. And we're so excited and proud of the role that Canadians humbly paid. And that's the kind of humble servant spirit that we need more of in this country. See you again next week.